Every autumn, I get nostalgic for 2014, back when I was bulking. See, back then, we had no info available for bodybuilding. Everybody online recommended dirty bulking to gain size, so as a young idiot, I was like, wow, I can eat all the junk and get massive?
Come on.
Yeah, it's not the massive you want, little Joey.
Come on.
Also, basically, it sets you up for a lot of bad habits. So during the winter, you're eating pizza, Ben & Jerry's, all the good stuff. And then comes to spring, you think, oh well, I just need to go on a brief diet and lose the fat and keep the muscle. But then you're back to boring, unseasoned chicken breast, broccoli, and rice. So in this video, I'm going to show you things that I did and things that you shouldn't under any circumstances do. Looking back, I should be quite embarrassed at some of these, but everybody starts somewhere. And if you start now, here's where we start. Let's dive in. Good morning, guys. It is early morning. We are talking about 5:10, as always on a Wednesday. We got the 4:45 alarm, but that's not going to stop us from having breakfast because unfortunately, I'm not about that intermittent fasting life. I need food as soon as I wake up, whenever that is. So the first thing I did, and it's kind of a meal that I still have now, is oats with protein powder. By the way, we are using this stuff from the last video because to confirm my suspicions, this is indeed an 11 out of 10. However, can you guys guess what I didn't do? I didn't measure my food. Now that is the first mistake you can do when you're on a healthy lifestyle, because basically I used to just pour this with reckless abandon, and to be honest, in retrospect, I probably had well over 100 grams, which was probably about 400 calories, even though this is the healthy option. So again, it's not about healthy foods, it's about serving sizes, it's about trying to find a good balance between like what you need and what you can actually scran, because to be honest, I can eat a lot. So with that in mind, we are going to get by with a little help from my friend Chef Kuo. Look at this guy, he knows how to party. Anyway, this is pretty much just pure fiber. So per 125 gram serving, it's 13 calories, 5 grams of fiber, and you guys know what I said about fiber, it does bits and filling you up. So I'm gonna mix the full pack of this with one of these pre-made servings, and that has a fantastic flavor as well as serving size. They're really handy, really cheap, and to be honest, this fluffs up because of that. So I'm gonna put this in a nice big thick bowl, and we're gonna have a nice little oatmeal rice pudding situation going on. Alright folks, we're chilling out in the church courtyard. That's the only place that's got good acoustics. Just finished my morning clients. We're going to go to training myself. We're going to go to Atlas Gym in Concord, which is where I train pretty frequently in my formative years. Because in this video, I want to go through the dietary mistakes as well as the actual training mistakes, which I think is a minefield in itself. Now, I followed a thing called the BroSplit pretty religiously in the first sort of 2 to 3 years that I trained and made pretty much no gains. So I'm going to run through that with you guys once we get to the gym. So why is the BroSplit bad? Well, it's not really. Obviously, lifting weights in any form is better than none at all, but it's a question of frequency. Going back to what I said in my progressive overload video, frequency is a massive player in building strength and muscle, so more is better. The BroSplit is chest, back, shoulders, etc. just once a week, whereas now I do 2 days a week, where I hit legs and shoulders together alternatively. So it's leg exercise, leg, shoulders, etc. This now means I can reserve energy and spread it evenly and have better quality sets throughout the whole week, rather than wailing on chest one day and leaving it for a whole week, which is overly long for rest and recovery. Plus, training one muscle group a day means you're going to be fatigued as hell later on in the workout, putting added pressure on you to perform at your best when training. If you have a weaker day or you feel unfocused, you freak out because you won't be doing chest again until next Monday, for example. Nowadays, if I have a bad comp-bios day, it's cool because I'm doing the same muscle group again in 2 days. Doing 2 groups a day also adds variety. I'm still a gym bro at heart, so I still hate legs, but now I do legs and shoulders together. Squats are now more bearable because the next exercise I do is a shoulder one that I love doing. I'm now more focused and motivated. Alright guys, so immediately post-workout I would treat myself to a protein bar because you can tell I was a bit of an idiot and I religiously believed in the anabolic window. So I would pretty much have one of the Metrex Big 100 bars. Now, honestly, I would have been better off having a Snickers and a protein shake because these things tasted amazing and I really felt like I was having my cake and eating it. But to be honest, at 400 calories, I might as well have had a cake. So I still have some protein bars now, but I actually look at the calories. So again, similar to the other bars that I've shown you on the channel, you want to have about 20 grams of protein per 200 calories, sorry, which this one is. But to be honest, I kind of don't have as much protein bars now, and instead I settle for some 0% fat Greek yogurt with some just flavor drops from my protein, because let's be honest, for a very similar amount of calories, this is double the protein, double the volume, and to be honest, pretty much the same price. And like I say, with some flavor drops, pretty banging, and it can keep you full for longer. So for lunch, I would always go to a place called Chopsticks, which was a local Chinese place. I thought it was the healthy option since it's just chicken and rice, but I didn't take into account the fatty oils and stuff that they fried their foods in. So a lot of these things on MyFitnessPal aren't actually on, but the average meal looks like it clocks in around 700 calories. I wouldn't have these every day, but still twice a week. All right guys, so we are back from Chopsticks. Didn't actually get one though. Basically made my own homemade curry. I found when I was bulking a lot, I was resorting a lot to laziness and convenience foods. So I would go to these kinds of places for that sort of like kind of quick fix in food, you know? Whereas if I was just a bit more disciplined, I could have easily just got some chicken chunks and some rice, made my own curry for about £2 as opposed to the 7. Like I say, I used to go here twice a week, so my wallet was getting shredded, but I most certainly was not. And like I say, most of the Chopsticks meals aren't on MyFitnessPal, but the ones that are, looking at around 700 calories. So anyway, speaking of calories, I've been crunching some numbers. So my maintenance is 3,000. Now that includes my total daily energy expenditure and my NEAT, my non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So if I wanted to go to an effective bulk, you only really need to add 100 to 200 calories, which would bring me to a total of 3,200. Now, looking at my intake, the oats plus the protein going to about 600, the Chopsticks average 700, the protein bar, and of course, the next meal, which I'm going to show you then, is my tea and all the other stuff, which I haven't actually worked out because I didn't just live on these. I probably had other stuff, other snacks throughout the day as well, which would bring me to a whopping 4,600, which coming over the 3,200 is 1,400 plus calories than I needed. Now, obviously taking into account other things like maybe like harder training sessions, it's still over 1,000 calories of pure fat. Effectively, it's extra calories that I did not need. So you can tell, looking at these things, I was basically pushing the boundaries between bulk and just eating tasty food. Now, this worked when I was a young lad, about 22, 23, with a metabolism that could kill an ox. But once I hit about 25, 26, this was not maintainable, man. I got super fat, super bulky. And honestly, I don't think I even gained that much strength and size at that point, other than the size around my waistline, of course. So as you can tell, my last meal was a bit of a whopper. Now, I would justify the pizza because, oh, it's got 40 grams of protein. But then I didn't take into account the 120 grams of carbs, 60 odd grams of fat, depending on which one, because I would always go for one of these. Now, these were the frozen ones, not exactly the ones I had. But sometimes I would even go for the stuffed crust, and you can see that nutrition is not ideal. So you can do a bit of an alternative with these kind of small, like almost ready-made ones. They take about 2 minutes in the oven. But honestly, even these, their macros aren't that great. And then of course, with the ice cream,
I would go for the big, heavy Ben & Jerry's. Although recently I've definitely gone to change these for the low-calorie versions that Lidl do. And as you can tell from the back, it's pretty much just a frozen protein shake. The question is, do I regret dirty bulking? I think it's 50-50. I look back at some old pictures of me and I think, holy hell, how did I think that was going to get me healthy? How did I think I was muscular? And I think really looking back at a lot of pictures, I was just chubby. However, dirty bulking allowed me a lot of calories to build the initial strength, because you must remember, and this is a story for another day, I was ex-anorexic when I started the gym. I was 7 stone. So going to around about 13, 14 stone in about 2 to 3 years, I did build a lot of strength and initial muscle. That is the foundation for like what I'm rocking now. So even though I did build a lot of fat, it also didn't really take me more than a few months to lose it to where I am now. Now, I'm not exactly where I want to be right now. I'm still around about 13 to 12% body fat, depending on the day. But it's also lent me all the knowledge that I need to build upon.
Alright guys, so to rattle this off as soon as we can, the 3 biggest takeaways from this video is that the BroSplit isn't necessarily bad, but there is other ways to do it. I would definitely recommend a push-pull legs routine or some split similar to mine, basically where you're training a certain muscle group twice a week if you can, sometimes even more if you think that area is underdeveloped. Number 2, there's a fine line between dirty bulking and just being fat, undisciplined, and just eating anything that you want. The good thing about counting calories, which I didn't do back then, is that I could have had these foods and still made the gains without the fat, just by making smarter choices. Instead of having that like 1,500 calorie pizza, I could have maybe made 2 smaller pita bread pizzas with turkey bacon and light mozzarella on top. Would have had more protein, 60 grams less fat, and about 100 grams carbs less. So there's always different choices you can make, and there's also like different sacrifices you can make as well. And then the last one is try and track your lifts as well, as if the BroSplit wasn't bad enough. The fact is, I just walked into the gym and I didn't even know what I lifted last time. So I just rocked up, yeah, that looks pretty heavy, picked it up and then did a few reps. But I had no way of knowing what I did last week. So say on like Monday, August the 25th, I might have picked up a 24, and on the 31st, I might have picked up a 20. And because I had a bit of a weekday, I might have felt heavier, but really what I was actually doing was regressing in my plan. So yeah, always track. Sounds a bit obsessive. People get on my case about tracking everything, but that's how you know you make progress. It's not obsessive, it's just taking accountability for your own fitness, which really should be everyone's #1 priority, because if not, you're just wasting time in the gym, and what's the point in that? So guys, that is another video. This is Joy Taylor PT signing out. Have a good day, and I will see you guys in the next one.